Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Queen Sugar Season 2, Episode 9, and this is the mid-season premiere, and the name of this episode is Yet Do I Marvel. This was a really good episode, y'all, and I'm so happy that Queen Sugar is back. I love this show. But before I get started, let me send out my love and condolences to everyone that was affected by the shootings in Las Vegas, as well as everyone that was affected by Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and Hurricane Jose. And I ask that let's give all the support, and let's give anything we can to actually help our communities right now that are in need. Because we're living in some really tough times right now, and we as a nation need to come together, and we actually need to be there for our fellow man. So let me get started with this review. The episode opens up with Darla and Ralph Angel. They're now engaged because we saw that they got engaged in the mid-season finale. They just went out to a movie or whatever, and they just kind of like cutting up with each other. And he was saying that, do you have any regrets, college, living in the city? So he knows a little bit about her past, but he doesn't know a lot about her past because her past is something that she kept hidden. But personally, I think she really came from a very bourgeois existence, just like Charlie. She came from a well-to-do family. And, because of her drug addiction, her family pretty much disowned her. But she said that, the only regret is that I wish I finished school. But my past has nothing to do with you. We're now building something new. And she doesn't want to go to her past because she doesn't want to revisit, that pain that she experienced from being rejected from her own family. We actually see that Charlie's at home. She gets a text from Aunt Vi. And then we actually see that, she's on her laptop, and there's a story that breaks out about, her and Davis getting a divorce, and they also talk about, the Gallar article that she did, about the mail, and then we actually see that Remy shows up, and Remy's like, talking about taking her out on a date. He want to take her out, to get her gumbo to her elbows, and get her some good food that'll make her holler. And then Charlie's like, so you really trying to make me holler, huh? I was like, okay, Charlie, I'll see you. It's cute seeing her and Remy out with each other. So finally, Remy done calmed his ass down, and now Remy's on some good shit. Next, we get a scene with Nova and Robert. We see that Robert has been making trips for about 2 to 3 months back and forth from Atlanta to see Nova, to help her out with because Nova just recently wrote this article about this about the Zika virus, and she's pretty much saying that Ward 9 could actually be like a ground zero for this disease to break out. And she's been getting a lot of backlash even from her publisher. But Robert pretty much, is very encouraging, saying that, look, you said you wanted to help save lives. This is what you're doing. So keep up the fight. And we definitely see that Robert and Nova have been getting it on. I mean, it's just so gorgeous to see all of that melanin on screen just looking so righteous and beautiful and powerful too. I was like, yes, melanin on fleek, baby. I was so here for it. And we also get a quick scene where Aunt Vi is getting her hair done, and the beautician notices that some of her hair is falling out. So we know Vi is ill, and we kind of knew that from a few episodes before the mid-season finale when she had passed out in the restaurant. So we know that there's something going on with Vi, but Vi is not talking about it. Like, she knows that there's something wrong, but she's not trying to talk about it at all. And then she tries to explain the reason why her hair's falling out is because of stress, and maybe her wigs is pulling out her hair and all of that, but there's something else going on. Next, we see that Wendy and Charlie are out on their date. They're having a good time. She gets a call, and it's from her mother. And we actually find out that her mother is in New Orleans. So then we also get a scene with Hollywood. Hollywood is working, on this, pretty much, is doing like some, some development work, on this property or whatever. And the property is actually owned by the Landrys, because we get a scene where they come over there and it's like, okay, well, you boys continue to do a good job, and Hollywood kind of looked like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I was thinking the same thing, like, these are grown ass men that's over here working and you calling them boys? Really? And then later on in the episode, they come back and they ask him that they want to hire them full time because they love the work they're doing, and that there's going to be a lot of more work needs to be done on this project. So he wants to hire him and his crew full time. And he's like, oh, I'll think about it. And I'm like, that's smart. Like, dude, you call me a boy, but yet you want my service, and you want me to work for you, but you don't want to respect me like a grown ass man. So yeah, I'm like, okay. Hollywood about that business, but Hollywood also about his pride and his respect too, which is what I like about Hollywood's character. Hollywood is definitely one of those characters that is serious, and a man that's not only about who he is as a man, but also about the people that he loves. And we actually see that he actually talks to this new guy who's new to the site. He actually did like some drilling, just like the same work that Hollywood was doing, but he quit that, to go be with Vibe. He was saying that, yeah, the conditions there are just like inhumane. And he's like, yeah, I know about it, but he's like, they didn't let me go though. I actually left to work things out with my woman. So we saw that go on. So we see that Charlie finally meets up with her mother. And her mother is a piece of work. Y'all hear me? She is a piece of work. Like, her mother is very high society. She definitely, eats with different forks and all of that. Like, she's very high society and very well spoken and, very sophisticated. And you can definitely tell this is why Charlie is the way she is, because her mother just breeds perfection. Like, it has to be perfect. Everything has to be a certain way. I mean, she was even kind of going at Charlie for doing the meal. Don't you think this is kind of like a little bit out of your league? I mean, you have to compete with Davis now. And, there are other agents out here. There are other players out here who would love to have a business agent like you. And she had to kind of check her mother, like, I am the first black woman that owns a mill in the state of Louisiana. This is what I'm doing is no light feat whatsoever. I'm like, yes, honey, get her together, because she's building her own life, but because she's doing things differently and so against what her mother's used to, her mother already is just pointing out, oh no, this is not right, and oh no, you need to do this. Even was talking about her home and the way she dressed, the way she does her hair. Like, you've given me too much change. It's just too much for me. Baby, since her father died, she's been there going through, not only, healing for herself, but also the healing from the family after losing their matriarch. But we see that she was really in love with Ernest, because she pretty much said that she went across town or whatever. Well, actually, no, she was on a cruise, and she was like on the other side of the world. And she pretty much was on a cruise the whole time, and she says, I needed that cruise because, his death really, really did hit me to my core. So she was in love with Ernest, and Ernest was in love with her. But then again, she was the other woman, because Ernest was actually with Nova and Ralph Angel's mother, and he cheated on their mother with Charlie's mom. And we also find out that her and Aunt Vi do not like each other. Vi pretty much told her she could not come around the family at all, because Vi don't want nothing to do with her whatsoever. So we actually see also that there's been some backlash from Nova writing about this whole Zika epidemic, and we see this. She actually meets up with Chantal. Y'all remember Chantal from season 1? Her and Chantal had like a little thing going on. You know, they was definitely doing some kissing and munching. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But we can definitely tell that Chantal is jealous of Robert, because when he goes to introduce himself, she's like, I know who you are. And she's just going off like, you know, what you're doing is a big mistake. Like, I don't even know what your passions are anymore, Zora, and all of this. And I'm like, girl, you are so jealous. Jealous! I was just kind of cracking up at her, because she just let it be known she didn't care for Robert. But then we later on see that Chantal's gonna arrange a Q&A at this health event, and she's also gonna, you know, ask questions about, you know, Zika, and also questions about our article. And so when she gets there, Chantal is already being shady. Well, it seemed to me that you know, things may go left, you know, now that they've read your article. And she had to check Chantal. She was like, I was here when Hurricane Katrina, when Hurricane Katrina hit. I stayed. I helped my community. I didn't run away. I have always been here, and I will be here. So she had to let Chantal know, you need to shut the fuck up and cut with all this anger, because I know where it's coming from. It ain't coming from nothing, you know, unprofessionally. It's a lot of this what you're giving me is coming from some personal shit, and you need to get over yourself. But we actually see that she did get some backlash, you know, from the community when they was asking questions about Zika. Why are you saying that Ninth Ward? You know, she says, have there been a lot of outbreaks? She says, well, no, there's like about 6, you know, known outbreaks of Zika patients. She's like, well, why are you making it seem like it's going to be a lot of people going to be affected by Ward 9? You shouldn't have put it in the article if it's not true. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, see, it's just like, you know, the community, it goes to what Chantal was saying, that the community is shaken up by her article, and she's getting a lot of pushback, but at the end of the day, she's speaking on something that's actually happening, and she's kind of like putting it out there that, look, you need to kind of like pay attention to your children, you need to pay attention to everybody, you know, who may be infected by this disease, and know the warning signs. And we see that Dr. Robert Dubois, he's actually treating this little boy. This little boy has it. And she was saying that, look, you know, it's okay for him, because I think you get Zika from mosquitoes. And she was saying that, look, as long as you make sure he wears bug repellent every time he goes outside, he should be able to play with the other kids, and he should be okay. But then, you know, she even talked about the article, like the article got everybody shooken up. It got everybody scared. So we see that going on in that situation. But we see more and more that little Robert Dubois is feeling Nova hard. Like, he is really feeling her big time. So then we also get a scene with Blue, Darla, and Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel is coloring this big tree, this big flower tree, and what it is that it's going to be a family tree, because he wants pictures from from Ralph's parents, but then he also asked about Darla's parents, and we saw that Darla really didn't have much to say. She gave, I think, the first names of her parents. I forgot the name she said. If y'all remember, put them down in the comments. But, you know, we can definitely tell she does not want to talk about her parents. So that's a big question mark. Who are Darla's parents? Where does Darla come from? Because this is a part of her that nobody knows about. Not even Ralph. and it'd be real funny because my hypothesis is that she may be related to the Landrys. I could be wrong, but that's just my hypothesis right now, that she's probably related to Sam Landry or one of the Boudreaux, and she's just keeping it secret because, you know, one, she don't want to cause a war, but then also because she don't deal with them. And here it is that, you know, she's, you know, coming into her own, but we can definitely tell she's very shaky about talking about her family, because also in this scene they finally announced to Blue that they're going to be getting married and that they're going to be together forever. So that was a great scene, you know, with the family right there. And then we finally see that later on they finally tell Aunt Vi in Hollywood, and Hollywood's happy. At first you think that Vi wasn't supportive, but she really was, because you know, Ralph Angel's like, well, things are on the up and up. We about to have our first harvest this year. And she says, yes, and I've been clean and sober for 2 years. And she says, I know you have been, baby, and I'm really proud of you. And, you know, she finally hugs them and says, congratulations. But she says, are you guys really married for marriage? Marriage is a big step. Are you guys ready to, you know, go for it? He's like, look, life is too short. And, you know, we ready to make this happen. And it's really good because we see Ralph Angel in a very good place. And we see Darla's in a good place, but then again, Darla, Darla is also coming with that reality that she's going to have to mend fences with her family. You know, because they come from a big family and no one knows anything about Darla's family. So I think this season a lot's going to be revealed, so I think we definitely need to stay tuned as regards to the whereabouts of Darla's parents. But we also see that we also got a scene with we had a scene with Davis and Micah. And we also saw Michael early on. He actually greeted his grandmother. His grandmother loves him to pieces, you know, so she definitely loves her grandson, but she's very picky and very over the top when it comes to Charlie. I mean, she even calls her Charlotte, so that just goes to show you right there, you know, her mother is very, very, like, high society, you know, over the top, and she's a white woman, so she definitely was just giving the most. But before I talk about a little bit more that happens, you know, we actually have a scene with Davis and Micah, and Davis pretty much, you know, is checking in on him, and Micah's actually doing this report, and he's really happy for him. But then he lets him know that, look, we need to talk about what you told me the other night. You know, a while, you know, actually not the other night, but you know, a while back. So I think it's been like a few months. And he said that, look, we need to tell your mother about this. And he's like, why would I do that? Mom don't care about that. Only thing Mom cares about is whether I'm keeping good grades, and that's all she cares about. You know, and he's like, and then like David's like, no, your mother does care. And then he's like, does she care about you? And I was wondering how Davis was going to answer that. But he answered it in the most truthful fashion. He said that your mother was there for me, but I did some things that she couldn't come back from, and neither could I, so that's why we divorced. But she always was supportive of me, and she always had my back. The problem was that I did too much that she couldn't deal with it anymore. So he got that together with Micah. And then we see that they finally tell Charlie about what happened. Charlie is ready. She's like, we need to fight. We've got lawyers. We've got pull. We can make something happen. And then Davis is like, no, he doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to move on. Let's not go there. And she's like, I don't understand why the two of you are so okay with this. And, you know, Michael's like, look, I just want to get past this. You know, I just want to move forward. I just want to move on with my life. But we see that her getting this news tears Charlie apart. Because even later on, we actually get a scene where they actually have like an engagement party, for Ralph, Angel, and Darla, at the diner, and we can tell Charlie is fighting those emotions the entire time, and it was really hard to see because this woman just found out that her son, was a victim of police brutality, and she feels guilty because she was so caught up in her own shit that she feels that it was her fault that she didn't protect him. But then, we also see that she also has a scene with her mom where her mom reaffirms to her that, look, I did the best I could by you, and you did the best you could by Micah. This is not your fault. Things like this happen, and it's just unfortunate that it happened to my grandson, and it happened, and it has affected you the way it has. And we see that her and her mother do have this coming together. But it was real funny, like when she gave her mother a tour of Queen Sugar, the mill, and she was just, and then, she was also very picky about her apartment, that, you got to lift up the interior in this place. I mean, I think probably Micah will probably rather live with his father than live here. I mean, she was just being real over the top with her shit. But then when she met Remy, she started like, so you're the man that's helping my daughter with her business. So I guess I need to get to know you a little better, And then, like, Charlie's just like with her mouth open like, really? And I'm like, Mom peeped it. Mother's intuition. She knew that Remy was her man, and she was just filling in like, so this who you talking to now? So what do you do in my daughter's company? I was like, wait, we got some catching up to do. And he actually likes her mom. But there was a scene where she was going off like crazy about her mother, like she's so judgmental, she's so stuck up, she this and she that, and like Remy's like, well, she seems okay to me, As a matter of fact, why won't I wonder, and then like we see later on at the engagement party, her and Remy run into each other, and he asks her, "Where's your mom?" And she's like, "Look, Vi and my mother do not get along. You will never see her at any of the family events because they don't get along with her, And a lot of it is due to the fact because she was Ernest's other woman, and I think Ralph Angel and Nova's mother and Vi were very close. They were so close they were like sisters. And then you got this woman coming in, stealing her man. So of course Vi probably feels some kind of way about that, and it may be some other things that ties into why she doesn't want nothing to do with her. So we actually see after the engagement party, we see Darla actually calls her family and she leaves a message. She says that I want to let you guys know that I'm about to get married to my son's father. I'm 2 years sober, and my son Blue is now 6 years old. So they haven't even met Blue yet. Blue has never even met his grandparents on his mother's side. He don't even know nothing about her family because, we definitely, when we first met Darla, we knew Darla was a heroin addict. But now she's gotten her life together. But we see that there's still some hidden pain and some hidden, trauma, that comes from her family. And I think it may cause some problems, with her and Ralph because, Ralph knows nothing about her other side of the family or anybody of her family for real. So I think, we're going to find out probably by the end of this season who are Darla's parents. I don't know why I had trouble getting that out, but hey. But that's what I have, guys. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. But we definitely saw that where the episode ended. Vi is at the doctor's office So she obviously got a diagnosis, but I think in time we're going to find out what it is. But, you know, we saw that Hollywood was trying to check on her, and she was just denying that there was anything wrong with her. But Hollywood knows his woman. Hollywood pays attention to his woman. So he knows something wrong, but she's saying that everything's okay. But yeah, but that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, I've started a GoFundMe account. Check out my GoFundMe link in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of Queen Sugar. I'm so happy the show is back, y'all. So until then, everybody, take care.